Hello, faces and things. It is I, an idiot. Anyway, today we are going to be doing something completely different as usual. I figured, as me and my mom were going out through our storage unit, which we haven't properly done since we moved here 2 years ago, and some change, we decided to go through a bunch of the boxes we had out there and stuff because of the fact that we need to clear space out so we can put more shit in there. So basically, so we can clear out space so we can fill it back up again immediately. It's awesome. It's efficient. It's exactly what you want in your life. But anyway, yeah. And so, of course, you end up digging up some memories, you know, and all that good stuff from your past. And so I figured I would share with you, friendiendos, some various things that I found. Just in case some people might enjoy it, other cases because of the fact that obviously looking back in time it would be kind of fun to kind of look at these things before I can get rid of them, because there's some of these things that there's no real use in keeping, but they still would be good to have documented for memory and all that stuff anyway. So that at least in some way I have it on hand. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so we might as well just start off right away. This is a painting by, clearly, because there's nobody else in the family that would do a painting like this, my brother Nathan, because I don't paint. And I'd be the only other person in this family that would likely do something like this, which of course is the United States and its flag burning, which I thought, I'm going to document that. I think that's pretty freaking cool myself. So, yeah, there's that. Of which this, my friends, is a door, as you can see. I'm pretty sure, I know this is tracing paper, I'm pretty sure I traced this deer. I don't think I drew this by hand. It would be very difficult for me, in any circumstances, at any age, to have done this by hand, but you can see. Hunting, quote-unquote, by Dennett Kreckelstein. So, yeah. It's pretty cool. I love how there's no hose. It's just goodbye to your feet. This is something that my sister made in some grade of school. I'm not sure which. I think maybe on a field trip. And I'm, of course, going to end up dusting this off and giving it a light wash and then hanging it up because I also love orcas. So this is pretty funny. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to document this too, because this is there's an int. Int. Yay! Anyway, this is a Cougar sponsors / partners. I don't know why I just voluntarily shook it like that. Goodbye, get in focus, man. What you doing with your life? And the Cougars are AOC, which is Aloha Oregon Cougars. That's what I always term them as. And this idea was spawned out of the fact that, of course, to me, my hometown, even though it's technically not a town, it's an unincorporated area, blah, 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 technicalities, is what I consider my hometown, which is Aloha. So, Aloha Oregon Cougars. And this idea spawned from when I first had NBA 2K11, when the My League feature, actually, which was, what was My League called back then? That was my team. I can't remember what it was. Association mode. I used Association mode a lot, and I decided to create the custom teams, and one of them was the Aloha Oregon Cougars, because I wanted to pretend that there was an alternate Aloha where it was actually somewhat urbanized, semi-urbanized and stuff. So it had like low-rise buildings and all that stuff, rather than just simply single-family homes. And it was just a purely low-income community, still low income, but so it's still the same Aloha. It's just, you know, alternate edition of it where it's higher density, so that this would be able to be a supported team, and from surrounding areas potentially. And then this would be, of course, a direct competitor to who else? The Blazers. Nevertheless, sponsors, partners. So I decided to call it the Econut Pavilion, is what I decided. I even actually have a drawing in one of my notebooks I have in the house of a concept for what a building like that could look like. And I think it's really unique looking, so I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of has like a park system on the outside, a greenway park system, which I thought was really a good idea. A green roof, stuff like that, because I thought that would be really fitting for the name, of course. So, Econut Pavilion. And then these are the sponsorships, which is really funny because it just starts out kind of, you know, typical for me. Ecomania International, Psychosis Design, just thought that's a pretty damn cool sounding name. Qualtham Outdoors, okay. Then you have Fluffy's Bread and Pastries. Instead of Cabela's, Chubella's, which I actually did not see that when I looked at this last night, which is pretty funny. Corduroy and Nickel Entertainment, which I thought that's a really... That's especially my favorite one. That's a really fucking awesome name. Bluetooth Creative, which I have a YouTube channel called Bluetooth Music, which is where I've posted some of my music. I should be posting more. Anyway, so the group would be called Bluetooth Creative. And then you got Rocky Mountain Oyster Food and Supplies, Cow Pie Nutrition, and Steaming Dung Finger Foods. You can just see, after Bluetooth Creative, I just said fuck it, and I just got really bored. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go really stupid and immature here. Cow Pie Nutrition, Steaming Dung Finger Foods, and Rocky Mountain Oyster Foods and Supplies. I thought that was worthy of showing off, because it was just kind of dumb. I believe it's two-sided, yeah. So this is a piece of a little family quiz, quote-unquote, I made. I don't know how far back this was. I was obviously still using Microsoft Word, probably 1998. So Word 98, and or 2000, one of the two. And clip art, or just pulling in the photos that I got, which they're only like twice this size, which is still tiny in their full resolution, because they had a shitty little Kodak digital camera. But I'm missing one of these pages where I did that, though, because there was the one where I actually said family quiz on it. I don't know where the heck that one is. It's somewhere misshuffled. Anyway, so this thing, I don't know why I filled it out myself. I was trying to think about that last night. I was like, I don't remember filling these out myself. But this was, in fact, one of my very first, you could say, physical creations instead of drawings or scribblings, whatever else, or writings. But I actually still completely remember the snake, and I actually remember exactly how he felt, which was really, really cool. I actually don't know exactly what happened to him. I think I got rid of him, but I don't know when I did that. But yeah, so that's a snack that I made with my mom. And then this is, of course, one of the tails of our cats, Kiki, Bib, Kitten, or Cheddar Butter. Cheddar Bob is what we always call Cheddar Butter and still do, and he's probably not alive anymore, but he's a neighborhood cat that a family across the street from us actually just decided to let go feral, which they did a lot with their animals. And then, what kind of tomato was this? Brady White, Better Boy, First Lady. I don't know why I got the whole off the internet thing, though. That's what I was trying to figure out as well. I was like, why did I say off the internet here? But it's a Better Boy. That was a homegrown one, of course, on the kitchen table. Then, what is this? Barley, millet, cat scratching post, oats. Which was, talk about random. Then what type of evergreens are these? Douglas, gray, and noble. Blue, black, spruce, or thick gun. Yes, they were thick guns. They're off of 171st. Then, yes, because I'm missing that page. But yes to that. Is this a vermiculated pufferfish? Yes, it is. There you go. But on the other side, I'm not sure which order to go in, but I'm gonna do it like this. Shabushki. And then, aha! I found the first page. Family quiz. Some pics are old. Oh, are they old? Are they really? Were they really? Anyway. Whose tough is this? Orlo, Hanny, or is Tough? Well, that again, I'm confident I was the one who answered these for some reason, even though I was the one who made these. So I guess I decided I would intentionally misanswer this, and I said it was Orlo. But it's not Orlo. It was Cephis. Because the perfectly teardrop rodents, Tiffin. Yusuf, yeah, he was gray, with a little bit of marbled black, tan, and gray in him. Or, gray. That's not what I meant to say, like a charcoal color. But he was otherwise just a really light tannish gray. And then he had white patches and bands and stuff all over him. And his tuft was white, and his tail was the grayish color, the grayish tan color. And I'm pretty sure with the red scaling on this, because for some reason these are really overexposed with red scale, I'm pretty sure that would be Tuffin's tuft, and not Orlo's. It could still be Orlo's, though. But the thing is, I have a hard time remembering which way it was. If he had an orangish tuft, or if it was entire tail that was orange, or if it was the reverse and he had a white tuft with an orangish tail. I'm pretty sure he had just an orange tail, a light orange tail. So that would mean there wouldn't be a color change on his tuft. So that I'm pretty confident that's a Tuffin tuft. Anyway, and then whose head is this? Meow meows. It's Boyd when he's young, or Chorley. It was Chorley. I don't know what that was. He had two Miseses. But anyway, the other side, let's do it like that order. Point. Gourmet Castle menu. When I was a kid, I made so many different things like this. This, I always had the thing I called the Everything store, where it literally had literally everything. From cars, instead of just a car dealership, you could go there for your car, you could go there for an RV, you could go there for a trailer, you could go there for a boat, you could go there for your food shopping, your clothes shopping, your outdoors shopping, your la 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 la. You could go there, this literally everything. That's why it was called that. And of course, everything was like dirt cheap, not like this. It was dirt cheap because it was. I knew, like even way back when I was a really little kid, I understood how you would get way more customer base, and thus you'd have more potential revenue. You would end up being able to allocate comparative to all your competitors, because you would draw all your competitors' loyalty away to your store because of how cheap it was and how much more variety you had. So that was the concept of that. But this is one of those things, obviously, I think later on in time, where Gourmet Castle, apparently, was what I called it. And the first items I list is Bean and Cheese Bowl. Small, medium, large, party size. Gourmet, Bean and Cheese Bowl. Gourmet, Bean and Cheese Bowl. What? Tacos and burritos. I think I had Taco Bell in the mind when I made that, for sure. Anyway. Then, of course, you had tacos and burritos continued, burritos. You had appetizers, as you can tell, I was very phonetical. Went very hard with the sounded out rules. Seafoods, 9-piece prawn meal, 9-piece buttered prawns with herbs, key crab legs, Dungeness crab legs, breaded halibut fillets, breaded cod fillets, breaded cat. Of course, as usual, I always had fishing and stuff like that on the head, so that's what it did. But apparently, I also was still very much into my sugary treats back then too, because holy hell of desserts. God damn. And I thought this was just kind of interesting, because I was always off and on into like aquarium fish, and I got on these fads where I was like, I really want that. Also, I think that yellowish puddle thing, there was a hairball on that originally, so cats we got that. But anyway, take this with you. Red-tailed shark has people have PetSmart. If this fish will eat fish, including fish with long fins, angelfisk. Preferably yellow or gold marble. Remember, look at the fish before getting the blah. I actually don't remember drawing this. Actually, I do for the mountain, but I don't for the rest of it, I don't think. Actually, I can remember. Yeah, I'm slowly starting to remember drawing this. But this is supposed to be, as you can see, Mount Rainier Wilderness. Age fitting by myself. At 15 years old. And you gotta understand that I like very, very rarely in my life have drawn. So to draw something this, at 15, this is actually pretty good. Especially saying technically this falls under Impressionism, because it's just from my head. Hey, no reference, let's just draw what we feel like would make sense to look at. So it's really colorful though. I do like that. And this, I assume, is a case, IH, or not, of harvesting, of 2008, because, or prior to 2008, I assume, because the reason why I assume it's pre-2008 is because in 2008, it was the only time we ever actually voluntarily took a trip up to Puget Sound for a vacation. We went to Dash Point State Park. We camped there, me, my mom, and my dad, in 2008. And so I assume that's why this shindig is a case of pre-2008. Plus, close to this, I found a road trip list, although it wouldn't make much sense if it was a road trip rather than otherwise. But I don't actually remember when my dad got us whoever it was Signature Series Chrysler minivan. But whenever he did, that was the first time we ever had a modern vehicle. And so it was a case where suddenly we had power sliding side doors, we had a power tailgate, we had satellite radio, Sirius XM, a hard drive in the thing. That was the first car we ever had with a computer in it. We had, which is not a good thing, different story. The middle row windows would actually go down about 2/3 of the way, which was really freaking awesome. If I remember correctly, the two middle seats also had heating in them, I think. It was just kind of cool to be able to have that. But they also had 2 DVD players in it. And so you could use the inputs to play your PlayStation or whatever console you wanted to bring with you if you wanted to, whatever else. And on that, I saw the whole bring PlayStation thing. And so I think it had to have been sometime after we got that van. But then also it wouldn't have been a road trip. And I also was thinking to myself, it wouldn't make sense if it was just a road trip if I had that list with that on it, because it's not really like we ever would. Like, even I didn't allow myself to imagine taking a really proper long road trip because of the fact that my dad just was against that. Like, it was very rare we went on a road trip, and when we did, maximum maybe 3 hours. So, usually to Newport, but not always. But usually. And so, that wouldn't make sense, But anyway, long story short, that's why I assume this is probably pre-2008. The easy fish to catch at Puget Sound piers, because I was always, especially as a kid, I was always stupid into fishing. And I know I could easily find myself getting right back into the flow of enjoying fishing, even though I only catch like boots and power lines and shit like that, because I'm extremely talented. You know, it's just kind of cool to see this and then be able to have those other memories pop up and be like, yo, that's cool. We're going for 20 minutes just about already. Holy crap. Suddenly 10 minutes are gone. This I thought was kind of interesting. Certificate of Appreciation. Donald Grecolostin. Recognizing the beauty that trees bring to our world and the importance they hold for future the Plantagenet. 2009. Issued December 26, 2008. So, I did this in 2008. And, let's see. If I can maths. That would make me 14? I was 14 when I got this. Well, 14 would be 2008. Yeah, 14. Almost 15. But yeah. And then this was funny because for a relatively short time I was into Deadliest Catch. My mom actually got me into it. And so I started having a concept in my head of my own knockoff show, my own alternate little universe, because I'm still to this day, I'm always living kind of in my own head, in my own little universe, which is cool. So each of these dots represent, specifically these ones, because you can tell where the land outlines are supposed to be. Elysia. Anyway, but, boring C! You can actually see where I tried to correct it. I just randomly let's ignore this piece right here, and let's put this little curl Q in it, so it's definitely an E. I definitely didn't misspell it with the A. Barring C. Barring C. Barring C. You can tell immediately, I'm like, oh fuck. But yeah, anyway. Wizard. Why did I spell it with 2 Z's? I don't know. Crab King. Gold Rush. Neopin. Don't know why. Oregonian. Can't imagine why the heck that would be an option that I'd toss in there. Who would be the captain of that? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut up. Wolverine. Didn't think that one through. Northwestern. Somebody. Northwestern again. Oh no, Norwegian Northwestern. Right. But yeah, so this is the true. That and that one are obviously additions. I don't know if the Gold Rush was ever a ship. I don't think so, but maybe. The Lizard with two Z's for some reason. Once again, I don't know what's with me in two Z's at this point. But that one I know wasn't one. I know that Norwegian Northwestern were, or I'm thinking Maine North American, confusing with Norwegian. I don't know. Anyway, and obviously Wolfer, sure I meant Wolverine, but Wolverine. I'm not sure if you were, the Crab King was a ship in it at all either. Probably, but I don't know. Newpin, I definitely don't think so. Random House with my signature pumpkins from Quebec in the tea. Grace, I think. Kern Curb, Lurgs. Yes. But yes, when I was back in the day, I was so into pumpkins. They were my favorite thing to grow. I just loved being around them, and I loved getting them, and I loved having them as decorations. And I loved growing them as well that way. I wish I snidely took a shot at myself for this. I'm like, nicely done, self. You didn't even fucking put your age on it. That's just disgusting. Because I don't know what the heck this was, but because of this, and then the style of it, I feel like a woman. I feel like it was from way back when. Like, not talking 2008, I'm talking like at least 2005 maybe? Probably a little further back. Close up of blades. Mini version. Not mini version, mini version. Danny Grog, the owner of Blades. Boyd's signature. He typewritten. It was cool. He gave an autograph. As if he was a mouse, but he did it as if he was a gerbil. He was just a near niece. Here's the road trip checklist. Road trip checklist thing. Like, you could tell how ambitious I got. I was always such an ambitious kid when it came down to my imagination and like what I would hope for and everything, even though I knew it wasn't realistic, it was never going to happen. I loved embracing my imagination so much into what I wanted to have happen that I would always have things like this where it was over the top of like things that I normally wouldn't dare actually take with me, and yet I would treat it as if I was going to take it with me, and this was a very serious list. Like, oh, we're going to go on like a 17-day road trip. Let's make sure we take entertainment. But yeah, so you can see the fishing stuff, crabbing net, the MP3 player, sleeping pads, air mattress, shovel. Shovel would be for, again, sand and stuff like that. Which immediately to me was like, okay, so we're going to go either to the coast, or this was, again, prior to going up to the Puget Sound and Dash Point State Park. Although that wouldn't be a road trip, that would be an actual vacation, so I don't know what the heck that would be about. But anyway. DVDs, PlayStation Games, PlayStation Controllers, Memory Card, Digital Camera, Video Camera, which is a digital camera. Oh no, the digital camera, I'm an idiot. Ignore what I just was about to say. Journal, Snacks, Etch-a-Sketch. Boom! That's another thing, is that I see the Etch-a-Sketch, I laughed my head off yesterday, and I'm like, hang on. But then what's this? Specifically, what's all this? The PlayStation DVDs, da-da-da. Etch-a-Sketch? You would think that would have been when I was a lot littler, but then again, I still had my Etch-a-Sketch from, well, it was technically Erica's, my sister's, from way back when. And I still would use it, especially on road trips, or anytime when I was kind of bored, I would fiddle with it for like 5-10 minutes or so. Swim trunks, extra clothes, basketball. Basketball, that's something that also really confuses me. It's like, where did a road trip in basketball, normally I would never think to do that, because I'm not thinking of playing basketball, and if I am, then it's like I would have known that there would have been a basketball court or a park or something I could play out with it. But then that would mean I want to spend time on a trip or a vacation with basketball, which wasn't normal for me. So that's also abnormal and stands out. I was like, basketball is kind of weird. And I wasn't really into using or playing basketball or shooting around in any way until especially once I, well, ended up at my grandma's place. So once I was an adult, basically. That's when I, especially 2010 onward, but especially actually playing it was really picked up, like, and shooting around stuff, I'd say, yeah, 2013, 2014 is when I really started to push it. I started to have a lot more fun with it, get into it, so. Drawing pad? 7 to 10 pencils. Speaking of the ambition. That ambition, though. 7 to 10 pencils. 7 to 10. Who needs 7 to 10 pencils? What? What? I don't understand. Pencil sharpener. USB cord. Battery charger for rechargeables for the digital camera. Yeah! MP3 player. I had a gig of storage on it. I remember we got it, I think, at Sports Authority? Or was it Big 5 though, still before? No, it was Sports Authority. Before it moved into the main mall and then it went away. Oregon Trail 5th edition. I wasn't actually intending on showing this, but then I just picked it up absentmindedly because it was on the stack. But this actually has its own story too, because of the fact that it wasn't until 5th grade that in the school ended up having a computer class thing, basically, before we really started up the actual classes after lunch break in 5th grade. And so I got introduced to Oregon Trail 5th edition alongside a few other games from the Learning Company that they had on their all-in-one iMacs. You remember the all-in-one iMacs that were they were semi-translucent cases they had, but they had like blue and they had pink and they had green and all this other stuff on the front part of the case. It was also semi-translucent still. They had a handle built into the case on the top of it. So you had your monitor and it was kind of rounded in the front and then it, tapered off in the back like kind of like this. That's what we had in our school. And I don't know when it was they phased it out or even if they have phased it out because it's Oregon. So likelihood is they probably still have something from like 2008 in the schools. At latest, I feel like. But yeah, anyway. This, I would every single day in 5th grade, after lunch, when we went to the computer room, this is exactly what I would spend my entire time in there playing, was Oregon Trail 5th edition. I had so much fucking fun with this, and I still enjoy playing this game a lot. This, to me, is by far the best version that they ever made of the Oregon Trail games. They actually made, I think, up to 8th. I think they made up through an 8th edition, and all the other ones after it were getting worse and worse. And they were getting way too old, like, really little kid educational. Like, 4-year-old educational type of stuff. It was weird. And it was more an interactive educational thing than it ever was a game at that point. Literally, the very first edition and the very original Oregon Trail game I played because we owned a Macintosh 2 and at our house. And so on there was the original first ever edition of SimCity, the original first ever edition of Sim Farm, I think the only edition they ever made. Anyway, so we had those two. Mavis Beacon teaches typing, which I like to say Beavis Meekin teaches typing because I'm an idiot. I've always liked to say Beavis Meekin instead. Just beaches yiping or something. Basically, I'll try to be dyslexic or something also with the other ones, just so that it irks people. They're like, Mavis Beacon teaches typing. It's like, I didn't mistype that intentionally at all. Anyway. And then you had, of course, Oregon Trail, the original Oregon Trail. And so I enjoyed playing that a lot. But then you also had, later on, I say later on, there was also on it Oregon Trail 2, which is basically Oregon Trail Deluxe or Oregon Trail 2nd Edition, whatever you want to call it. which was the revised and updated version. That I think that's the one that pretty much everybody knows of the best and thinks about when they think of the original Oregon Trail game, of where every 2 seconds, every 5 miles, somebody breaks a bone. Another 10 miles, somebody gets cholera. Another 10 miles, somebody gets bitten by a rattlesnake. 2 miles later, another person gets bitten by a rattlesnake. Yeah, and then everybody just dies within like 2.6 miles from the start of Independence, Missouri. So yeah, but then the original one is the one where it was just monotoned colors. You had the green hills, and the bright green hills, and the white ass oxen. You had the really low detailed, and then you had the much higher detailed, but a lot less color, kind of old school map style of the Oregon Trail 2nd edition. And as a kid, I was also super into, of course, nature. I still am, but like, especially wildlife restoration and all that stuff. And also, I always wanted to make my own creeks, and I wanted to make my own wetlands and stuff like that. And so, I thought this was kind of cool to see that I printed out too, and kind of document this as well. Is a basic outline of like what you would do with, being your wildlife area. This is a printed out picture of me and my personal flesh knit that I had for about 4 days before, well, here you can see we're in the vet office. And that was when we had to put her down, because she came up to us, well, she came up to me, I should say, when I went outside from across the main suburban street that our cul-de-sac was off of. And she came running up to me, and so I ended up feeding and watering her and talking with her and visiting with her and petting her and everything. She was just the loveliest, dubbiest, butteriest individual of flesh knit you'd ever seen. And she like instantly adopted me. And of course I immediately adopted her, and she stole my heart immediately, and I stole hers, and it was great. And then she had to die because it was 4 days later, and of course she had to have frickin' leukemia. So we had to put her down. So that was the day we put her down. That was in the vet's office, as you can tell, with the walls and stuff. So I was saying my goodbye to my fuzzy. And I don't have the greatest reputation with cats, just because of the fact that cats, they always, if there's anybody else around, they'll happily adopt them. But they never come up or adopt me. And then most cats, they just like, I always like give me one really nasty look, and they're like, nope, and they just nope out. They're like, goodbye. Or they'll act all afraid and skittish, and it's like, what the heck? But then you can have like almost anybody else around, even somebody who's acting like, you can tell they're just not having a good time, and they're being like dicks about things that are really loud and stuff. And for some reason the same cat will go and they'll just like butter with them, but they'll be like constantly looking at me like, you stay away from me. And it's like, what the fuck? Because cats are cats, they're very independent creatures, and they're weird and everything. And so unfortunately, that's the routine reputation I have with cats, apparently, is I'm somebody to be pretended that I'm just a threat, and I need to stay away from the royal fuzz. I might contaminate their pelt. Ew. Oof. Twitch. Oh, God. Frown. And so this was the first time and only time in my life thus far that I was properly adopted. Like, I was, when you're adopted by a cat, they adopt you as theirs. And this was the first and only time in my life I was ever adopted by a cat. It still kind of, cuts a little deep. It's like, I only had her for 4 days. It's really sad. And there's that same picture is actually up there. You can actually just barely see it. It's this thing right there. Anyway, yeah, in the corner next to the green thing. But yeah, anyway, this is another thing I wrote. Sea life, or I should say I drew. I also don't believe I dated this, did I? No, I did. This is also Aggie 15. So there's that. First time drawing, I say. That's obviously not true. I drew up face before. I mean, it's the first time I tried to ever draw these fellers. But yeah. So yeah, you have the Pippy Fisky. Eel. The E-E-L. A beluga whale, which I spelled beloga. I just got that. Oops. Sea turtle. Sea liff. I thought that's pretty nice. I actually like that sea turtle a lot. Same with the beluga. Don't tell it's missing its dorsal. But I really like that sea turtle. I think it's fucking cute. It has no mouth. It's just a little dot eye. That, you gotta admit, that's a cute freaking sea turtle. I like that a lot. Tweedle. And these I thought were cool because of the fact that they show some pictures, because I was always the kind of person who, a kid who, like, I like to always have pictures I could either print out or I could take out of magazines or catalogs or whatever, and then I put them up on my walls because, as you can actually see the tape still on it. Way the feck back! But yeah, and I always like to have them, the things I really liked at the time, so. And this picture I've seen 1,000,000,001 times, including over the last like 3 or 4 years. It's had a massive renaissance, a massive resurgence in popularity and use again, and it's just being shared all over the place. And I'm pretty sure this specific place it's either Austria or it's Slovenia. I'm pretty sure this is one of the places in Slovenia, but it could be in Austria. It's one of the two. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure it's Slovenia. So I thought I'd share that as well, because that's what I would always do. I actually still had a calendar from 2005 that I was saving at the time because of the fact that that's another thing I would do, is if I wasn't like saving pictures out of magazines or catalogs or whatever else, or printing them out, cute rodents, what I would end up doing is I would end up saving, like getting calendars, and then I would pull pictures that I like personally out of the calendars, and I pull them out, and then I would put those pictures up on my walls. Which, if you think about it, is really resourceful and really good. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Just the things you would do even back in the early and mid-2000s that were different than anybody would ever think to do now, because it's like so foreign now. It's like, that's so inconvenient. It's like, why couldn't you just go fucking buy the $25 picture? Because you can get it for free out of a fucking recycled calendar. Like, what? Or some, kids thing. This next thing is something that actually hits me pretty deep, because of the fact, to this day, in fact, it still has an impact on me, because of the fact that I feel like I really let myself down, and I really disappointed myself, because I knew, at this point when I made this journal you're about to see, I knew for a fact at that point that everything that this religion that I was born into said and preached and believed was complete and utter fabricated bullshit. I didn't believe in any of it. And I didn't even believe in the whole paradise concept. But I really I made a last second desperate cling to the concept and the idea of a paradise Earth, because I wanted that at that point really badly, because it was like, would provide the perfect escape from all the bullshit I had to go through in my life, including up to that point. And the way they describe it, of course, was like perfect, obviously. It was awesome. And for me, it had nothing to do with the immortality, which they would try to say, it's not immortality. Yes, it is. By definition, immortality is infinite life. You can't die. You're always going to be perpetually living without such a thing as an average age, because nobody dies. That's, by definition, the original definition, what immortality is. So yes, you are innately immortal in paradise Earth. I had no care about that, about living whatever, or even visiting with relatives I've never met, or visiting relatives I have met and getting to know them. I didn't care who the fuck was there, or any of that concept, or any of the human aspect of it. That I didn't give a shit about. What I gave a shit about, what I was desperately trying to cling on to, was the nature aspect of it. The non-human nature aspect of it. So the plants, the beauty, the mountains, the earth, and especially the fuzzy creatures, the fuzzy non-human creatures. Because the number one thing that popped into my mind, and the number one thing I always had the strongest desperate cling to, is I so badly wanted that to happen so I could just befriend and cuddle into and sleep with and hog the stuffings out of and pet and play with and everything with a big old Siberian tiger. Because they've always been my favorite animal. And that's what the desperate clinging was here. That inevitably, especially after, which this quickly, like, even this desperate cling, I just had my last straw with it. I'm like, I'm not going to cling to anything anymore. I'm done. I don't believe any of this. I already didn't believe this. Now I did this. Why the heck did I do this to myself, as if I thought it could happen when I knew it would never be real? And that is this. My ideas for the Paradise Notebook. And this one, of course, is really, you could tell like how I was feeling at that point in time. This is kind of what I already explained. With why I even did this as a desperate cling. You can see the desperateness in this. I hate this world and system that I want it to end. Please, oh please do, system, you can't come fast enough. This system of things is horrible and hideous and is long overdue and needs to come to an end. Getting wrong. Yeah. And it makes me feel really sad because it's like, it makes me feel bad for myself. Specifically this edition of myself, because I knew even then this wasn't real, but this was how I just wanted to be anywhere but here at that point, you know. And so it's like I really disserviced myself, and by making this and by having this desperate cling like this, and you know, it's like. But you can see like how quickly it would effectively end up. 2011. Jesus Christ. I didn't think it would be that close to it. But yeah, and then see, look, that fast. That freaking fast. I completely repurposed it. I was already detached from it. Like, it was such a short-lived little thing, and then I already had let go of it, and I said fuck it, and here I was already using it for something else, you know? It's just kind of weird, so, but yeah, that makes me feel weird even to this day that this is even here, so, but yeah, and obviously if you hadn't already figured out what the heck the religion was, it's JWs, aka Jehovah's Witnesses, which most of my family is still involved with or believes in for whatever reason, which I feel bad the fact that they're willing to be that gullible, but that's my opinion. They believe what they want. Anyway, but I also had this thing that I started, and I think it was after this, that I started doing the whole journaling thing. Journal 1, Journal 2, there's also Journal 3. I think it started in Journal 3, and I didn't go very far after that. After a break, because I lost Journal 2. I didn't have space in Journal 1, so. But the whole journal thing, I don't even remember everything I wrote in these. I just remember it was always the excitable type. Yeah, it was before this. Before the Paradise one, because April 23rd, 2008. No, 24th, I guess. 2008 was the very first entry I ever made in my life into a journal. A.k.a. a diary, technically, because a journal for boys, a diary for girls, because even the people who are like, let's kill the patriarchy, of course, still have their attachment to gender-specific terms that the patriarchy brought them. You know, like, how people always like, I'm a lesbian. Well, I'm gay? It's like, yeah, you do realize that if you're lesbian, you're gay, right? And for some stupid reason, are people like, that's sexist, or whatever, and it's like, it's a personal attack. It's like, you want to crush the patriarchy, right? You want to kill all the remnants of it? Why the fuck are you saying lesbian? You're gay. But they always do it as a gender-specific term, so you know, people are hypocrites, but anyway. I got my ultrasound done on my abdomen and my EKG done on my heart today. My heart was good, but the bad news is I may have a problem with my kidneys. Really? See, I don't remember that. I know that my liver got fucked up from Zyprexa. I also may pick up my items at the library that are on hold. Once I get them, I'm either going to read them or watch them. They are about fisking, mainly fly fisking. I am excited about this coming Saturday because we're going fisking at Bethany Lake. They stock the lake with lots of fisk this month, so we're hoping that we will have the best of times. The best of times. It is still April 24th. I kept saying 23rd that day for some reason. I got 2 DVDs from the library. They were cool. Are so cool. Oops. You see how my eyes skipped? I'm actually reading through the viewfinder of my phone, by the way. I'm not reading this at all. I'm reading literally through the phone. They were fly fishing DVDs. I also got a book called Fly Fisher's Guide to the Galaxy. Fly Fisher's Guide to Oregon. I also tried physics? Yeah. What? Fizzy yogurt? Oh, fizzy yogurt. I think is what that is. It might be physics. I'm pretty sure it's fizzy yogurt. It's pretty good. Because I think I remember there was a little short period where they made fizzy yogurt. It's kind of weird. It was cool. It tasted great too. Added a little bit of a kick, I think. Today, I set up my fishing gear for the fishing trip on Saturday. Today is Thursday. On Saturday, I am aiming mainly for bass and cats. I still might keep trout, even though they're dangerous to eat. Trout are dangerous to eat. What? Trout are dangerous to eat. What? Where did I get that from? That's weird. I know that when you fillet a trout, you have to have expert filleting skills because it is tremendously difficult to get their bones out. They are bones out. Hairball. Cat hairball residue. Delicious. Absolutely nutritious. Right now, I'm watching SpongeBob. Really. I almost never watch SpongeBob, so that's actually really, really interesting. Usually I only watched it if there's nothing else on. I was bored. It's 2008. We swapped from the CRT to a flat panel in 2006, summer break 2006, and got satellite TV, so non-DTV, for the local access for the first time in my life. Also summer break 2006. So obviously I just started to get to Nickelodeon. Let me think. 14 years ago, in 2012 would be... No, that would be 2006, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I guess right off the bat I was already into Nickelodeon, and actually that's when I had first ever developed a crush on Victoria Justice because I was watching the Zoe 101 episode, trying to figure out what the heck that show was about and what it was. And as soon as I set my eyes on her, it's immediately it's heartthrob. And I say 14 years ago because, yes, that crush is still present today. So, anyway, I think it is a really good show. Did I really? I don't ever remember thinking it was. That's actually really interesting. I wonder what one of the very first episodes I actually saw was. That's another really good question. My sister Aricia has to go to the hospital for surgery tomorrow. I'm thinking about writing my 3rd adventure pack of the Adventures of Mr. Pussywillow. Oh, I vaguely remember that concept. Yeah! The Adventures of Mr. Pussywillow. I completely forgot about that. He's my masterpiece. Did I really? Ah, interesting. I vaguely remember that. Adventures of Mr. Pussywillow. That's cool. You could tell I was inspired by, like, Beatrix Potter style stories. Peter Rabbit and all that. That's really cool. I enjoy looking at... And Frog and Toad, actually. Stop blurring just because my finger is present. I enjoy looking at the 2 aquariums we have, especially the one in my room. Oh, we already have the aquariums at this point? Did we really? That means we had our aquariums for... That's 2008? April 2008. Holy shit. That means we had our aquariums for at least, I think, 3 or 4 years? I think 3. Did we really have the aquariums through the heat wave in 2009? Did we? What? I do not remember it being that early on. I actually don't even remember my mom still living at the house when we had those. At all. I am actually completely confused. How the heck is this 2008? That time does not make sense to me. That does not click. That doesn't sound right at all. It's like somehow the time is ahead but also behind by 3 years. Well, I guess 2 years or so. I think it was... When the heck did we get those? It seems like maybe we had them a total of a year at most before we got rid of them. And that's really interesting. Huh. Interesting. I also love to pick up my pets. Like my goibles. Suffy and Ham. It's the Ham! Hamilton. I also like picking up Beba Kitten. 2008. Beba Kitten. Beba Kitten. This fatness. So fat. It was a fat sack. You see what he was. He was literally a sack, by the way, of fat. Vibrating sack of fat. I never want any of our pets to die. And I lost my one true love, my goible. Orlo, I'm singing Orlo. Orlo is me beloved moose. I wrote a special memo about him and placed it above his picture on my wall. In fact, directly above where his aquarium was. I'll never forget my one love, Orlo. You're cute. By the way, I had to pay my brother, Nathan, I think it was like $5.23 is what I had, literally all the money I had in cash on hand, and he made me pay him. And now, of course, he makes into this whole thing of like, no, it was actually my friend Matt, he was the one who demanded he had to pay. No, it wasn't, it was Nathan. He did it because he was being a dick about it, and he knew he was too. He was just conniving, the bastard. He was still at Thai Garden at that point. My lunch reward. Anyway, this obviously is going to go on for the next 55 years. Heck, if anybody ever wants me to read more of these things, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I actually might just make some videos of just reading my journal out to myself. Yeah, might as well make content with it too, right? For other people to enjoy it. Why not? Anyway, I think that's about it. But I'm going to actually give this really quick. So, this is a CD we got from a trio of South American guys who had a band. I'm not sure which one was the band name, to be fair. I wish I did. Anyway, me and my mom and dad met them and listened to their little guest sort of concert thing at the Clackamas County Fair in Canby. And we loved the heck out of it. And that's when I first ever learned and became in love with pan flutes, Andean pan flutes. So this is Chileno Andean music. It's all instrumental, and I'm actually going to end up putting this on my computer so I can listen to it again, because I haven't listened to it since I was a little kid, which is really freaking cool. So if you guys see this name, you can look this up, and maybe it's on YouTube. I don't know if it is. It might be, it might not. It might be able to find a copy online, I have no idea, but if you can locate it, I highly recommend you give this a shot, because it's really memorable and good. Instrumental Andean music. It's really, really awesome. Anyway, this video is going to be quite long, so I apologize if you guys don't actually enjoy it, but for those of you that did watch through most of it, or all of it, and do enjoy it, well, be sure to leave a like so you let me and YouTube know that you did. And like I said, definitely please, and I really do mean this, leave a comment if you want me to continue to read out of my journal for like various videos, just little inserts or excerpts out of it, because I think that'd be kind of a cool way for me to be able to go back through my own memories and kind of walk myself back through that age and that point in my life, and to be able to do it for other people's entertainment as well and interests, I think would be a really fucking awesome way to do it. So let me know if you want to see that, and yeah, let me know what you thought down below. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I hope you guys, I don't know, yeah, create your own memories in whatever ways you can. I mean, you think about these kind of things, these are the kind of things that you probably are told or you believe that wouldn't really carry proper memories for a long time, or you wouldn't really remember, you wouldn't really be able to carry with you throughout a lot of years, so you can then eventually go back to them, whatever it is, this, journaling, or a notebook, or a CD, or a VHS tape, or pictures you printed, or things you wrote down, or whatever it is. Like, they really can carry throughout your entire life. So at any point you might doubt that, or you might believe that's too insignificant. Trust me when I say, you work with whatever you got, and whatever the heck experiences you have, especially if you're able to then experience them as you're writing them down or something, you're not going to forget that. That's going to help you actually embed it even further in your mind. And then if you can keep them around, or if you stumble across them, you know you're going to be able to make those memories come back. They're going to just flood back to you, and you're going to be able to suddenly find yourself in the shoes of yourself way back, whenever. So it's just really, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of important to make note of here, I guess. But otherwise, yeah. So I guess I'll hope to see you guys in whatever the heck the next video or live stream, whatever the heck I do might be. And yeah, I hope you guys are growing and working and you know, embracing failure and everything else every single day, and you guys are progressing yourselves to being bigger and better people. It's all that stuff, and whether you do it via faith, as in religion, or you do it via cynicism, or you do it via work, or you do it via socialization and friendship, or you do it via your job, or you do it via, you know, journaling, or photography, or you do it via YouTube, or you do it via blogging, or you do it via, I lost track of what the heck I was going to say, is another example. But no matter how you do it, a meditation, that was it. Meditation, manifestation, and affirmations, whatever, you know, self-investment, law of attraction. However, whatever you use as your lead launchpad, your basis, your fuel to continue to grow yourself into a bigger, better person and achieve what you've always dreamt of and wanted in your life. However you do it, I hope you guys throughout this entire time have been doing that, and I hope you guys continue to do that, as I have been. And go with the flow. That's, like, to me, the most important thing is you gotta, for me at least, that's how it works, is I have to go with a natural flow of me, if, whatever the heck that leads to. If it means that I'm not even doing YouTube, which suddenly I stopped doing YouTube again, it's like, where did he go? I went with the flow after my mental funk, and I haven't recorded much. I recorded, I think, 2 other videos since my mental funk, and I haven't even edited them, because the fact that it's not within my flow. So, like, I'm going through my flow, and I've made a lot of progress just since that point. Now, like, almost a month ago. 2 weeks to, like, a month ago. And I'm making a lot of progress. And I found a lot of things about myself, and it's just actually really opened a lot of, it's like broadened my perspective on myself and where I'm at in life and everything else, and given me a lot. And so I would recommend going with whatever the flow does for you. Whatever the flow is telling you to do, go with that natural flow of you in order to continue to progress at the pace that you're meant to progress at into that other edition of yourself that's bigger and better or whatever. But other than that, yeah, hope to see you guys whenever the next video may be. I hope that's going well for you guys, and I'll see you later. Goodbye. Stay safe and fluffy, you sexy bastard.